You never expect bad things to happen to you. We live life carefree and take everything for granted, never even considering or wondering what it would be like if life took a turn for the worse. We may read about other people going through tough divorces, hear stories about people losing jobs, maybe even know people who get into terrible accidents, deal with abuse or depression. Of course we feel bad and do what we can to help, but we really don't comprehend what they're going through. Even if we did feel their pain and go through the same exact situations that they did, we still wouldn't understand because everyone has different perspective. But we usually think that none of those things will happen to us, until it does, and your whole world gets flipped upside down. And for the first time in your life, you are the person who people read about, hear about, and feel bad for. I know this because I used to be one of those people. I lived without a care in the world, not appreciating all the things I had been blessed with, and not knowing just how lucky I was. I always felt bad for people going through difficult situations, and I did the best I could to make it easier for them or comfort them. I thought I understood what they were going through, but I look back now and realize I knew absolutely nothing. On June 17th of 2009, that all changed. I have a very close family. My mom and dad are always there for me. My little brothers, Andrew and Mitchell, are the cutest kids, and I love them so much. But my older brother, Will, and I have something more. He isn't just a brother to me, more of a best friend. I always come to him when I don't know what else to do. I tell him everything, and he listens, really listens. He doesn't criticize or judge me, he just waits patiently and then gives me his advice. We sit in his room and talk for hours about school, friends, the most recent episode of The Office, and pretty much all aspects of life. He almost never says anything about himself. Instead, he wants to know all about my day and how I'm doing. I don't know what I would do without him. The phone rang. It was June 17th of 2009, my parents' 20th wedding anniversary. It all happened so fast, and I had no idea what was going on. All I remember is watching my parents frantically pack and load the car. As they drove away, my focus was on Will. I knew something was really wrong. He was crying, something I hadn't seen him do in years. Days went by, but time seemed to stop. I was confused and terrified. I wanted to see Will. I wanted answers. Finally, my dad came home. He sat us down and told us that my 16-year-old brother had been diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia, or ALL, which is a type of blood cancer. William would need 3.5 years of chemotherapy and radiation. He would be a sophomore in college when his treatment would be complete. I was in shock. For the next 10 months, Will went through many treatments and spent weeks in the hospital. He battled against the terrible effects of the medicines that were actually saving his life. Nausea and fatigue were a daily battle for Will. I had never seen him that thin or weak before. Within a month, he had lost 30 pounds from the intense treatments. He spent days in the hospital and went through chemotherapy every week. I didn't understand how he could still be so happy with all the challenges he was facing. Everything that a normal teenager enjoyed was now gone for Will. Sports, friends, dating, parties, even school. Somehow in the midst of all of this, he was more worried about all of us than himself. After he was diagnosed, he told my mom, "I'm not worried, I'm just annoyed." He was wise beyond his years and always seemed to see the big picture when no one else could. Even when he didn't feel well, he managed to have a smile on his face. On April 27th of 2010, he went back to the hospital because he was having serious pain in his side. Everything went downhill from there. I knew he was very sick, but nothing could have prepared me for when I finally got to visit him. He was sedated and could not move or speak. He was hooked up to a breathing machine, dialysis, and rows of pumps that were giving him medicines and blood products. While he was in the ICU for 4 weeks, I got to see him and talk to him several times. I'm not sure if he could really hear me. I just didn't feel like I was talking to him. I missed our conversations in his bedroom and desperately wanted to rewind time. Finally, there was nothing else the doctors could do, and Will went home to heaven to meet with his Savior on May 21st of 2010. Sometimes I think he's just going to come around the corner and everything will be back to the way it was before cancer. I long to go back to when life was easy and seemed normal. But I know that this is all part of God's plan, and Will knew that too. Although I sometimes wish that this didn't have to happen to my family, I also know that we would not be nearly as close as we are now. We would not appreciate each other as much, wouldn't realize how precious each day that we are given is, or be who we are today. I was blessed to have Will in my life for over 14 years, which is way longer than I ever deserved. I miss him more than I've ever missed anything, but I am so happy that he is in heaven without any more chemotherapy, pain, or tears. and it only makes me more excited for the day that I get to meet up with him and our Creator. For now, I want to use my experiences to help others as best I can, to be a friend like he was to me. I may not understand exactly what they're going through, and I might not have the right words or comfort they need, but one thing Will taught me how to do is to listen. I want to carry his story on and hopefully make my life count. I want to live, truly live, and shine God's light into the world until that fateful day when I meet up again with my best friend, Will.